Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Rome, and today I was going to do something a little different, something I actually almost never do on my channel, and I'm going to talk about rumors. I've been trying to avoid it because I typically don't like talking about rumors. I don't like talking about things that don't exist yet until I actually have my hands on them or somebody physically has their hands on the device. And what we're talking about today is going to be the iPhone. I think Apple is calling it the iPhone Ultra and the Samsung Z Fold 8, the wide version. The reason I'm talking about this today because initially I was thinking, hey, some way, somehow, some way, I was going to find a way to afford both of these devices and review them both, compare them, because I've been talking about the Huawei Pure X Max for a while now, and I absolutely love this device. And it seemed like we were going to have something here in the US, that we have some real options here. But as rumors continue to flow, the price of the iPhone Ultra has become kind of ridiculous. So I want to talk about it. So let's get into it. All right, so I'm going to be covering all of this on the Huawei Pure X Max. And like I said, this is just my device of choice. I just love this device. And like I said, I was getting excited. I saw that Apple was releasing their device here. I'm not really an Apple fan. Their OS just kind of bores me. Nothing wrong with it. They make solid devices. The OS is really their ecosystem is really incredible. So I have no complaints there. I just don't use Apple. That's it. I have no hate towards them whatsoever. And I thought that maybe I was going to venture back over that way, but it's like I said, as the rumors continue to flow, and these prices are coming out, prices, and I've seen it over, and I'm starting to see it more and more. The price, the $2,300 to $2,500 price range, I feel like is genuinely too much for a foldable. I know, and I understand, guys. Don't get me wrong. I fully understand that they are going to have like trade-in programs. You can trade in your iPhone and blah blah blah. But that starting price for people, especially if you, unless they're going to offer trade like really good trade-in deals for like Samsungs and things like that here in the U.S. Pixels, blah blah blah. Trying to win people over to one a foldable here in the US because they're just not huge here. And then that price range and trying to win people over to a first generation foldable from Apple. Don't get me wrong, I know they make solid devices, but a first generation foldable at $2,500, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And I don't have any Samsungs on hand. And I guess I'm speaking from my point of view, so I'm speaking for myself. So I really don't have anything to trade in towards this. I don't use any Samsungs. I don't use any Pixels. I do have a old Google Pixel 8 Pro, but I don't think I'm going to get much for that. But anyway, I think that price is making it harder. And then I was looking at the design. I mean, let's go past price a little bit. I was looking at the design and I actually kind of liked it, but then I saw that they had they're putting their buttons on top of the device. I know this probably won't show up that great for you guys, but this is the bottom. The top photo is the bottom. But yeah, this is the bottom and this is the top. And I was kind of blown away by that. This is the top of the device and you have buttons up here. I don't know how I feel about that because I typically hold my phone down here and I have my thumb on my buttons, my power button, my volume rocker, things like that. Having to reach around top, and I mean, I guess it makes more sense if you're using it like this, but I feel like this device is going to get weird fast for me. Navigating back into iOS and learning this device, it just feels it's going to be something. And I'm still trying to learn what these buttons are. This is the side down here, I'm assuming. Yeah, this is the side profile of this device. So yeah, it just feels like something's going on with this device that it's going to take me some learning to get used to if I decide to go this route, but it's a good looking device. I just don't know how I feel about it yet. And that price is a major deterrent for me. Now, on the other foot, let's navigate over to the Samsung. They're coming out with a wide as well. And this is more my wheelhouse. This is Android. I'm used to it. I'm comfortable with it. And I've had Samsungs in the past. I'm comfortable with them. But these it feels like they separated these devices. They got the Ultra, which is the Samsung Z Fold Ultra now, and this is going to be the Samsung Z Fold 8, just the regular 8, I guess. I don't know why they decided to go that route, but yeah, I was looking at this device and I was like, okay, that's wider, but I still feel like, oh, that's my post. I was searching for the Z Fold 8, and I was okay. But either way, I was looking at the Z Fold 8 and I was like, okay, it is shorter and wider than the regular one, but I still feel like it's going to be bigger, like taller than the Huawei Pure X Max. And I know that's gonna be perfect for some of you guys out there. But for me, I really want a device here in the US that is basically this, but I can actually use every feature on the device. And the Samsung just seems to be a bit taller, and they're going to dial down their cameras on there. They're going to go down to two. I'm just I'm having a hard time making a decision here. And like I said, with these prices going up, I'm really thinking that I'm not going to be able to afford both of these devices. This is a really tough decision for me. I just don't know which way to go. Looking back, I pulled up the specs for the Huawei, and I'm kind of torn because I'm looking at some of the leaked specs for these other devices, and I realized that the Huawei, even with their restrictions placed on them and their bans, they can't make certain size chips and things like that. I know that the chips, the Snapdragons and the A20 Pro, and I'm fully aware that uh, Apple's chipsets are extremely impressive. So I know that the chips they won't compare to what Huawei is making right now. It's Apple chips are going to be crazy good in comparison to the Kirin chip that's out of Huawei, just because of the limitation placed on them, so they can't make certain size chips. I understand that, but what I was looking at was I went to look at the cameras and I was like, okay, a 50 megapixel, 12 megapixel ultra wide. Every company, almost every company, sacrifices the ultra wide. I understand, but you have 50 megapixel cameras on here, and they're good. I like them a lot, and so on and so forth. But when I was looking at the Apple, let's see, the cameras, you have a dual 48 megapixel, and Apple cameras are incredible, but this is their first venture into foldable territory. So I'm curious to see how those cameras hold up on that foldable device. I'm really curious to see, and I want to see some sensor sizes and things like that to see what we're getting. I know that their processing is going to do a really good job and so on and so forth, but I want to see what their camera, because I mean we're dialed down to two cameras on here, dual 48 megapixel rear cameras. It should be interesting, and I know for some people out there they've used the iPhone, I think it's called the Air, with one camera and things like that, and people say that it does good, but that remains to be seen. 54 milliamp hour to 58 milliamp hour battery, that's good. I mean, I feel like that's good. Especially with their chips, they've kind of gotten really really good with their chips and their power consumption. So we'll see. The cameras may be interesting for me. I'm curious to see how that plays out. Yeah, and then let's switch back over to Samsung. Let's see if we can find some leaked specs on it. All right, so I found some, and it looks like they're posted on Tom's Hardware. Like I said, this is all speculation, all rumors right now until Samsung confirms stuff themselves and Apple does so as well. But just based on the compared rumors that we're getting, you're gonna have your Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 in there. And the gig and RAM, I mean, you can kind of match those to whatever your build you want to have, how much storage, how much RAM you want to have. 48 milliamp hour battery. That seems kind of on par for what Samsung typically does. The rear cameras, they're going to go up 2 megapixels accordingly from what Apple is doing. So Apple's doing 48, they're doing 52. Hold on, so they're doing main and ultra wide. So no telephoto, huh? No telephoto is an interesting choice. That's a very interesting choice. See, this is what I'm dealing with here. I'm really struggling. The selfie, I don't care. I'm not big on selfies, so I don't care. But these rear cameras, I'm wondering what those sensor sizes are going to be. And it's still two. And it's a main and a ultra wide. Eee. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm interested to hear how you guys feel about these choices that these companies have made. I feel like doing away with the telephoto is a extremely interesting choice. I'll be interested to see how that plays out. And then looking over here, I don't think this leak doesn't even say really. It just says dual 48 megapixel rear. I'm thinking it's going to be the main camera and telephoto, but we'll see. I'm having a hard time deciding. I'm thinking that the Samsung is going to be more affordable and more in my wheelhouse, and they're further along in, like, exploring foldables and things like that. This is the first venture into like wide. Yeah, I mean, outside of like their trifold, which that's extremely wide, huge phone. But yeah, and this is Apple's first venture at all into foldable area. I don't know. This is tough. This is really tough. Price is going to be a major determining factor. The camera layout is going to be a big one for me too, because Samsung going with the main camera and ultra wide that's tough for me because I don't care about ultra wide. But there's just me. There's just me, guys. So what matters to you guys? What is going to help you with your decision making outside of iOS versus Android? That's to me is an old discussion. Both of these have come so far. I want to talk about hardware and software, because you could talk about software without just diving in. Oh, it's iOS or die, or it's One UI or die. Like, let's talk. Let's have a deep conversation going on here, because I'm really trying to decide, and they're making me pick one or the other, and I really didn't see myself going here, and I'm hoping that I don't. I'm hoping that I find out a way to get around it, but who knows? We'll see. All right. But anyway, interested in hearing your comments down below. Which way are you going to go? All right. Catch you guys in the next one. Later.